Everyone, and welcome back to another session with me, Kavita Agrawal, the founder of EXP Invest. Today, we are here to talk about a very important topic: how to be wrong in the right way. What does this mean? In fancy words, all I'm telling you about is the importance of risk management in the stock market. Now, in the last 1 week, the market has seen reversal and correction. I have been getting a lot of messages from people on my Instagram profile, on my YouTube comments, that they've been experiencing losses. But did they really have to experience losses? I'm sure there are a lot of people in the audience also who are experiencing losses because of this market turnaround. But if there was a way to reduce this loss, would you use it? The answer is obviously yes, and you already know about it. You probably don't deploy it because of various biases that we as humans are subject to. One of them is overconfidence. Another can be recency bias. The overconfidence bias basically forces us to have a bigger belief on our own abilities than we really possess. We believe in our abilities more than the abilities that we have. And recency bias forces us to believe that whatever's happened in the recent past, that is rally, is going to continue in the market or is going to continue in the near future. So we tend to project what we've experienced recently into the future. This is also a primary reason why market bottoms become very difficult for retail traders to buy into, because the recency effect or the recency bias kicks in there as well. So today, in order to emphasize the point of managing risk and how you can go wrong, but there is a right way of going wrong in your holdings, I'm going to emphasize this with two stocks where I traded, and these are like super good stocks, but because of the market correction, they suffered significantly. So I'm going to share my screen and let's discuss these trades, what I did right, what I did wrong, and when I went wrong, how did I protect my capital from erosion? So let's get started with that. This is the first window that I want to show you. So here you can see the trades that I'm going to discuss with you. One is CEAT and one is Titan. And here CEAT on 12th April got exited at around 2600, and then it fell 8.8% there. And then Titan, here my stop loss got triggered and I protected my capital from a 7.5% loss. Now you can see that I did book around a 3.5% 3,500 rupees loss there, and on CEAT I booked around a 5,000 rupees loss. However, when I was holding the position and because I manage active stop losses, there was also a point of time when the stock went up 5% higher than my exit point, which means I also missed nearly 27,000 profits. This is a metric that I like to track because it helps me see the horizon. It gives me like a target that I need to reach out to. So no matter how much improvement I make in the market, there's always going to be a big upside that I missed in the market. With all the stocks that I take my entries, and I'm obviously never going to be able to sell all stocks at the highest possible price. So this, however, tracking what is the missed PNL on the basis of the highest price that occurred after my entry in any stock, this kind of gives me the sense of that horizon that I always need to reach out for. So keeping that aside, today I want to focus on this metric of LTP divided by exit, which shows me where the current market price is compared to my exit price. And this is what I want to discuss with you, that how can we go wrong in our stock selection, but we can still be right by protecting our capital from erosion. So let's move towards this chart of Titan first. So this is the chart of Titan, and as you can see, I had been accumulating the stock for a while. Now, Titan is one of the stocks which react very well to swing trading, and if I hide all the drawings, what you can see here is recently Titan had been toying with the green line. The green line is the 100 EMA of the daily time frame, and historically, if you see, ever since this major bull trend started, what Titan had done was it would come very close to the green line, but then it would bounce back up. So my expectation was again that it's going to come close to it, but it's going to bounce back up. That being said, there is never a guarantee that such a view is going to come to fruition, and market has a way of humbling you into believing that you can easily go wrong. Now, the reason why I started accumulating the stock was that back on March 20th, the price of Titan did bounce back from the 100 EMA of the daily time frame, as you can see superimposed on the 15-minute chart, and then it continued to go upwards. So because I could see a positive divergence developing, I could see the volume was already going up as the price tried to rally. This is the volume indicator using the MACD formula, and this is what it looks like. This is the setting. What I'm basically trying to do is I want to see how the volume is changing over the last 20 days. Now, as my time frame continues to go lower, my formula for the fast and the slow length of the MACD calculation with volume as source continues to become bigger and bigger. Right? So here I could see that the volume and momentum were both suggesting that improvement is coming. So I started accumulating the stock. I set a target. I booked my profits there. However, what happened was that I started adding the stock again almost immediately. Now, this is where I went wrong. This accumulation was spot on, but this accumulation, which started after the month of April, was not so good. What was the mistake that happened here? Number one, I was still relying on the RSI positive divergence, which I had seen in 15 minutes. Even as a research analyst, even as a professional trader, I am also subject to the biases which I just mentioned to you, like the recency bias or overconfidence bias. Now, because I had already booked great profits in the stock once, I wanted to repeat that and book those similar or better kind of profits once more. So what I did here was I started accumulating the stock. So I used around this entire zone to accumulate. So over 2 weeks with over a 6% downside, I accumulated the stock. Now the good thing that I did, which helped me protect my capital, was I noticed that the stock failed to go above the 20 EMA here. So you see this blue faded line. This is the 20 EMA of the daily time frame. And what I saw was the price tested the previous high, but it did not go above it. At the same time, the price also fell against rising volumes. This was enough to give me a warning sign that something is not correct. So what I did was I set up a stop loss right near the low that I could see. So I could see that this was a pretty important low, but I didn't want to suffocate the price by setting a stop loss that was barely 0.5% away. So I chose the next best stop loss based on the previous accumulation zone that I had seen. So my stop loss was somewhere around 3534. This is around the level of 3520. So this is where my stop loss was. So when the price started coming down, immediately on the 3rd of May, my stop loss got triggered here. Now, because I had a stop loss and it got triggered and I did not interfere with that, I was able to book a timely exit in the stock. Had I not exited the stock, the very next day, Titan, as we all know, fell 10%. So this is the importance of having a fail safe, no matter how overconfident, no matter how confident you are in your trading, in your stock selections. Even a good stock like Titan has the potential to give a massive drawdown of 10% on your, especially on a short-term trading positions. Now, this massive downside of 10%, which I was able to avoid because of strong risk management, has helped me keep the hard work and the earnings that I've made over the months, over the last few months. This single loss would have otherwise wiped out multiple good wins for me. Because obviously Titan being a very good stock, my allocation was pretty big on this single position. Right? So this is one example of how you can go wrong in the right way. All of us make this mistake of buying stocks after the rally or re-entering stocks that we've exited with small profits with the hopes of making bigger profits. What matters is that you have a fail safe so that if you are wrong for whatever reason, your capital or your overall portfolio doesn't have to suffer because of it. Now let's move on to CEAT Limited. Again, CEAT Limited here, what I could see was that the 75-minute time frame firstly was in a negative range shift. However, based on the daily time frame, I could see that there was the beginning of, like, it was in a continuous bullish trend. Why do I say that? Because on the daily time frame, the RSI was taking supports at the level of and heading higher. And this time also it seemed like it was going to do that, even though the 75-minute time frame was not so bullish yet. So I made an entry when the price kind of created a positive divergence on the RSI 75-minute, which is usually a pretty strong indication of a new leg of rally, and started to go up. When the price took another dip here, this point, the 15-minute came back to the level of 40 and tested. That is when I took my entry. However, because I was aware that the 75-minute time frame is still not extremely bullish, and because I could note that the RSI had again taken resistance at the level of 60, I did not want to risk unnecessarily. And having traded in the market for many years, being a systematic trader, being a discretionary trader with own systems enforced, it has now helped me develop a sense of discipline. I am not comfortable holding positions without stop loss orders, no matter how confident I am on them. So on CEAT, understanding, like, even if you're not outright aware of these negative developments, because sometimes when we have skin in the game, biases tend to kick in, and we may not be able to see what we should be able to notice on the charts at first. They sometimes become obvious in hindsight. That is why having the discipline of maintaining stop losses is very important. So what I did was, when the price again went up to retest this high, that is when I set the stop loss which matched this same low. So my observation dictated that if the rally doesn't continue here, because the 20 EMA had been breached twice now on the daily time frame. So if the 20 EMA could not hold, and if it got breached again, I wanted an exit on my stock holding. So as a result of that, this is exactly where I set my stop loss. And as you can see, the price did not hold the 20 EMA and came down. Now, because I had my stop loss set On the 12th of April, my position got auto exited and I was able to protect my capital from 10% loss once again. Now, based on the 75-minute chart and the daily chart and the 15-minute chart, even though the 15-minute chart is giving a positive divergence here, I wouldn't touch the stock just yet because both the 75 and the daily time frame continue to look bearish to me, or not even bearish, they don't look outright bullish. If you want to increase your probability of success, one thing that you should also remember in the stock market is commit your capital only where the study suggests outright bullishness, because the study can suggest three things: either bearishness, neutrality, or outright bullishness. You should always commit your capital to where you're seeing the bullishness be very evident, where you don't have to deduce the bullishness. A lot of times we end up committing our capital in positions or in trade setups where it's not looking exactly bearish. Remember, that is not what is going to make you money. What is going to make you money is outright bullishness, especially if you're a swing trader who does cash only with no short selling and no other leverage or margin trading of any sort. That being said, another point that I want to discuss with you is about why I don't short sell in the market, or why I don't take short trades in the market. When you want to play the long side and the short side, you need to understand they are two very different ball games. They require preparations and you need to learn from your own mistakes. You need to do a lot of introspection on both. Now, if you're going to be on full throttle mode, or if you're going to be on very aggressively working mode when the market is rallying as well as when the market is correcting, you will not get time to rest and recuperate. Now, because today the market has started to decline, or not today, because since 30th April the market has been declining. Past 7 days has given me a lot of time to rethink or reassess my past trades. So I've been studying the trades that I've taken since January and comparing them against the market movement. I am studying the stocks which I have outperformed in, which I've underperformed in, stocks that I have but missed out a major chunk of the rally because of early exits, stocks that I entered and exited perfectly, almost near the top. Like example in Atul, my entry and exit were near perfect, like as perfect as it can be. Why is it important to do all these what I call past trade analysis is because if you want to become better in the market, just consuming external knowledge, reading new books, watching new videos, getting more mentors to help you out is not going to be enough. You need to build on top of what you already know, what you've already done. You need to refine your own art. That is how you build an edge at the end of the day. And in order to help other in the stock market become swing traders like myself, I run an advanced swing trade training program. The second batch is already underway. Today at 6 p.m. we have the fourth class of this batch, fourth out of 24 sessions. And in this program, I give my members access to the class recordings and chance to participate in live sessions for a whole year, even though the class is only 2 to 3 weeks long, because only 6 to 8 weeks long, because 24 sessions, we cover around 3 to 4 sessions a week. Even though it takes only 2 months to complete the class, still members have the access to everything for a whole year, because I understand that everybody has a different rate of learning. At the same time, I offer something called a Trade Together program, in which I give you swing trading recommendations based on all the study which I have shared with you, based on the learnings that I pick up in the market. So if you are interested in being part of my programs, then here's what you should do. First, head over to Telegram and join my Telegram channel. It's called Trade with Kavita. So I'm sharing this link in the comment for you to click on and join the channel conveniently. There are around 6,300 members. Just remember that there are lots of fake channels running with my name, so don't get caught up in every time I search there's like a new account coming up. So make sure that you're joining the correct program, the correct channel. There are around 6,300 members. And in addition to this, once you join the program, once you join the channel, you'll see a lot of information about how to join. In fact, right now I'm running a 15% discount because on Instagram we were able to cross around 40,000 followers, and then on Telegram we just crossed 6,000 followers, and on YouTube also we crossed 5,000 followers. So we are celebrating all of that, and as such I'm giving out a 15% discount which you can avail by joining the Telegram channel. That being said, I also want to talk to you about let me hide this. I also want to talk to you about the stock request, because I can see a lot of you are sharing requests for me to analyze stocks. So please just hop over to this link, expinvest.in/stock request. Again, I'm dropping this in the comment for you to join conveniently. And here you can fill up this form and I will help you out with your stock. So we're going to get started with some of the stock queries right now. So far, I have helped out nearly 144 people through my stock request forms. So if you also want your stock queries answered, just go ahead and fill it out. So we're going to look at the stock idea for Sangeeta, and she wants to know whether she should hold on or whether she should sell. So we are going to open idea, and I can see your cost price mentioned is 14.4. Idea for 14.4. So I can see you bought it near the high, which is not usually a very good idea. Now, I don't know if you bought it at the downside or the upside, because if you bought it at the upside, you did have an opportunity to sell it with a very attractive 25% profit. But if you bought it after the correction, then or there is a positive divergence on the 75-minute time frame, and also the 200 EMA of the daily time frame is lending good support. So we can expect that the stock can tally up from here. So I would suggest you keep holding, but please maintain a stop loss at the level of 11.6, right? 11.6 is where your stop loss should be. Daily time frame suggests that the trend is still bullish and the stock can continue to rally quite a bit from here. Just that it has a strong resistance here at the level of 17.5. So as long as this resistance doesn't get breached, it will be very arrogant to suggest a new high can get forged. So for now, I'm going to set your target at the level of 18.5 for you, right? So this 18.5 is where the previous high has actually been breached already, but we do have a twin top here, and the twin tops also did not form with a lot of volume activity. So I would set the first target at 18.35. Don't book your profits when 18.35 comes. I would suggest that you fill the form again and let me reassess and give you the next steps when that resistance comes pretty close. So Albert William is asking for the analysis of my favorite stock, VBL. Should you hold or exit? So from a long-term perspective, this stock is an absolute hold, and the 20 EMA is where the stock is hanging out and taking support repeatedly. That being said, the daily time frame is looking a little bit sickly, so we can expect some correction in VBL, and usually it has a tendency to come a little bit down to retest this 100 EMA because it's a super bullish stock. So even retesting the 100 EMA is a pretty big deal for the stock. But the daily time frame is definitely suggesting signs of exhaustion. So if you can see this RSI forming this lower low compared to this peak, so this is the negative divergence. So this kind of suggests that we want to not hold the stock from a short-term perspective and re-enter somewhere around the level of 1340. So that's my recommendation to you. For Vamsi, we are going to look at Sharda Crop, and this is, please tell me, should I hold or exit as per current price, technical and fundamentals. So fundamentals I can't do on this call. Fundamentals take a lot of time, and I don't know Sharda Crop's fundamentals because it's not part of my watch list. So 392 is where you are holding the stock at. It's to little bit of a loss here, but let's see, not much. Let's take a look at the weekly time frame. What does the broad trend? Very cyclical stock. So I already have the trend lines drawn, so I don't have to redraw them. It seems to be taking support here, but the weekly time frame is not very convincing, I would say, in terms of the starting of a new trend. Even on the daily time frame, I am not seeing anything which would compel me to either go long or hold a long position here. In fact, what I'm seeing is that as the price kind of declines, the volume does pick up, which is not a very good sign. Here we saw some positive activity, but then the 100 EMA beat the price back down. I would not suggest holding the stock for now. I think you should wait for a little bit more stability to appear before you continue to hold or commit more capital. And remember, the market is undergoing correction, and my expectation is that the correction is going to continue a little bit longer. So you don't want to take unnecessary risks. I, in fact, for one, I'm sitting on 100% cash position right now because I booked massive profits both in the month of March and in the month of April. And now I'm just waiting for market to come back down, except for my long-term portfolio, which is like separate. My short-term portfolio is 100% cash at this point. So for Gokul Raj, let's take a look at Manappuram Finance, 189. Oh, what happened in the stock? Can I hold for next 1 month? What happened in the stock? I don't know about that. Your question shouldn't be whether or not you can hold for 1 month, is whether the stock is worthy of your capital. And what I see here is that it is not, because the 15-minute is in a negative range shift. The RSI has started to decline with negative divergence, and the daily time frame also suggests that the price may be a little bit overheated and the stock is pining for correction. So my first support in Manappuram would be 161, and as such I would suggest you to book your profit loss and get out of the stock for the time being. Next, for Ashish Ji, let's take a look at Delivate. His view is 3 months, but let's see, 448, slightly in a profit. And I can see that Delivery is not one of my favorite stocks to trade in because it doesn't really have a lot of clear-cut trend to analyze and participate in. Not very ideal for swing trading, which is what I like to do. I don't see delivery being weak, but I also don't see it being strong. My analysis suggests that it has given a rally and now it's on the downside. Unless it gives me a reason to believe that it is on the rise again, I would not commit my capital to it. And in fact, what I'm seeing is that it is creating lower lows and lower highs. The 15-minute time frame is also in the negative range shift. The volume activity is also not very promising here. I think there are better opportunities in the market right now than delivery. That is where you want to take your cap. Next, let's look at GSPL for Ronak. So GSPL seems to have a massive gap. Let's see. It has been downgraded recently, lowered by Nomura. So GSPL is definitely not looking very attractive. I have recently been bullish on energy stocks. GSPL is definitely not one of those. Massive downgrade or downside that we've seen was very well indicated by this massive negative divergence on the daily chart and on the 75-minute chart. So there is no reason why you should be holding it right now. There might be like a small bounce back here, maybe 6-7% with a up to 311 or 312 maybe. I would suggest you exit your position there with a tiny profit or even break even if it's possible and protect your capital. I don't see a lot of bullishness happening here. In fact, it has moved into the negative range and I would expect at least one more leg of correction to unfold here. At least 251, that's 13% correction, can be expected in GSPL. Now for Anupam Goyal, let's take a look at Ashoka Met. Now, if the audience members also want their stocks to be analyzed, please visit the website that is showing right above my head and fill in the form to get your stocks also analyzed. So Ashoka Met, when you submitted, it was at 1850. Is it worth holding for long? See, for long term, I can't really give any recommendation based on this chart because I can see that it's a pretty illiquid stock and I honestly don't know the fundamentals of the stock. If you want to do long-term investing, we need to know what the business model is, how the revenue growth is, what the earning is, what is the strength of the management. All of those things, unfortunately, are not really visible. Chart analysis only. So we're going to move on to Mukesh's request for Hindalco. So 600 and Hindalco is very attractive. However, it has achieved the target that I had set of 650. And from there, it's created a negative divergence. And I believe that Hindalco has tested the trend line that I had set and the target level that I had set. And now it is on the down move. I don't think it's a very good idea for you to continue to hold the stock any longer. So I would suggest you use a stop loss at the level of 609 and book your profits if that gets touched. With that, we come to the end of today's session. Thank you so much for joining in. Do join my Telegram channel and connect with me if you're interested in swing trading subscriptions or learning trade together or learning swing trading from me. I will see you again on Friday at 5 p.m. in the Market Outlook series, where I bring to you analysis of Nifty, Bank Nifty, and the intersector analysis because we want to know where the momentum is headed so we can put our cash there. So I will see you on Friday. Thank you for being a great audience.